It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, and Microsoft is catching hell. Let's get into it. Hey guys, it's Alex from Techaeris, and I'm back with another video. No, it's not an unboxing. It's just a little bit of a rant and a gripe and a discussion about Microsoft and what Microsoft has been doing these past few months with Windows 11, Copilot, recall, all the things that are happening with this operating system that has gotten people frustrated and frankly a little bit pissed off about the direction they're going. And I noticed this months ago. You know, I do a lot of Windows laptop reviews. All of those are on Techaeris.com. I noticed the updates to Windows had become far more involved. Not the update itself, but what Microsoft was doing with Windows 11 and especially Copilot. So last year, I heard a lot of brands talking about Agentic AI and an Agentic OS. And this is the vision that these tech companies have been looking at. And Microsoft, I think, is the first to really implement it in a core way. And that is the fact that Copilot is embedded in every corner of the operating system. And so wherever you go in Windows 11, Copilot is there. And that's why it's called Copilot, right? They want the Agentic AI to be your assistant throughout the experience. That includes in your Finder, that includes in your Drive, that includes in Word and PowerPoint, in your mail. Everything is going to be super integrated with Copilot, and that has caused some issues. It's getting to the point where they feel like Copilot's more like bloatware than anything else, and I don't disagree with that. I think that it's interesting to me because someone said, "Well, you're into tech and normal people aren't going to notice this. They're not noticing Copilot," but that's wrong, because I do talk to people that are not techie. And I have people in my life that are using Windows 11 who are noticing this, and they don't like it either. They notice the intrusion, and I think what really kicked things off was the fact that they were putting ads in the start menu. People noticed that. Let me tell you. But I am getting people telling me, I don't like it when I'm trying to do some work in a Word document and this Copilot pops up and asks me if I want whatever it may think I need or want. It interrupts their flow. It's just intrusive. And that is what's happening right now is Windows 11 has become very bloaty, and people are not liking it, and people are stepping away. I was one of those people. In December, I switched over to Zorin OS 18, which is the Linux distribution, and I used that for a while. I'm back on Mac OS right now, and the only reason I'm back on Mac OS is because of certain software that doesn't work quite as the way I would like it to work in Linux, and that's DaVinci Resolve and Affinity Studio. They do work. There's workarounds, there's ways to make them work. DaVinci does work on Linux, but there are some things you have to do. And Affinity Photo is a whole other story. But sometimes you got to play with them and tweak them, and it gets frustrating. I want my tools just to work without me having to mess with them. So I'm back on Mac OS for now until we can figure out a way to. I know that Affinity Studio is working on a way to get port over to Linux, so that would be great if that happened. But anyway, I wrote an article all about it back in December. Zorin OS 18 might be the way out of Microsoft's AI nightmare, and I'll link that down below. But the other thing with Windows 11 right now is privacy concerns, and with recall and telemetry, the introduction of features like recall, which it takes snapshots of your screen, and you can turn that off, yes, but a lot of users aren't going to know that. So there's just so much going on with it that that people are just disliking. And matter of fact, let me switch over to, there's my article on Zorin OS 18. If we go over to X, there are a lot of articles, and what really got me going was this past month, people have been complaining about Windows 11, and matter of fact, a new term was coined, Microslop. So here we have Windows latest. This frustrated Windows 11 user calling Microsoft Microslop as the company continues to add Copilot and AI features to the operating system. One user has also created a Chrome extension that replaces Microsoft with Microslop across the internet. So that's kind of funny, but it's getting frustrating for people, and I want to know from my audience: are you guys sick of Microsoft's Windows 11 and Copilot and all the AI features? And what are you guys doing? Are you switching to Linux? Are you going over to Mac OS? Are you staying on Windows 10? I know just recently, maybe yesterday, here we have the ability to remove all AI in Windows 11, and you can do that now. But from what I've read, and again, this is pretty fresh on my plate, that might be a little more involved than the average user wants to handle or tackle. So, but there are ways to do it, so make sure you look that up. But here's another one from Tech Power Up. Windows 11 January 2026 update triggers black screens, Outlook failures, and emergency patches. Yes, that happened. Didn't happen to me because I am on Mac OS now. Actually, my Windows PC is sitting right here next to me, and it has been powered down for about 2 months now. So it has not done anything for me right now, and I'm a little scared to turn it on, actually. Now, the other thing that Windows has done, or Microsoft has done with Windows, is they now force you to log into a Microsoft account to use your computer that you purchased. Local accounts are no longer allowed. There are methods to get around that, but as far as I know, most average users who just go out to Best Buy or go on Amazon and buy a Windows 11 laptop, they are not going to know even how to do that. So it's pretty much now you are forced to use a Windows 11 account, or Microsoft account to use your computer. A few other points I have on my list here are what they call system enshittification. This term is frequently used on social media to describe the increase in embedded advertisement within the Start menu, File Explorer, and Settings app, as well as the constant nagging to use Microsoft Edge and OneDrive. That is so true. That I saw that increasing around November, the number of instances where it's like use OneDrive, sync to OneDrive, back up, and that can get grating on people, and it did for me, and that's why I switched over to Linux. And what's really wild about this is, like I said, I do a lot of laptop reviews, a lot of PC reviews, and what's wild about this is that hardware makers don't have control over this. This is something it's the operating system that they have on their PCs, and it's all Windows, it's all Microsoft. So I'm hoping maybe they can control this. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they can put a version of Microsoft Windows 11 on there that isn't running all the things that Microsoft wants you to run. So maybe turn all the defaults off and switch it over to a Windows 11 that's more familiar and less intrusive with the AI. I know that Dell did mention that they were not going to be pushing AI like a lot of other hardware makers are doing now, and they're kind of backing off on that. I did talk to them at CES, and they did confirm that their focus is not on Agentic AI and AI in general. They just want to put out a good product, and of course, with Dell XPS coming back, I'm excited for that as well. A few other things that are happening with Windows 11 is performance and stability issues. Users report that frequent continuous innovation updates introduce bugs faster than they can be fixed. The use of web-based Electron apps for system components has led to a less snappy and more resource-heavy experience. It's interesting to me when that comes up, because when Windows 11 came out, I didn't like Windows 10. But I was really enjoying. I said a lot of good things about Windows 11 in the interim, when, you know, in its early stages, and even last year I praised Windows 11. I didn't have any issues with Windows 11. It hasn't been until recently, in the past 3 or 4 months, that things kind of turned, and I'm just seeing all this nonsense happening, and I'm glad that other people are too. Hopefully Microsoft will address all this. So that, I think, is about it. The only thing I have to say is, you know, if you are thinking about switching from Windows 11, Linux is a good way to do it. It's free. You get privacy first. You get performance. Older hardware is fantastic, so you don't even have to buy a new laptop. You can just use one of your old laptops, if you have an old laptop, and put Linux on there, and it will run well. Obviously, there are some, you know, you don't want to go get a 20-year-old laptop. Sure, it still would work, but there are limitations, right? There's no forced updates with Linux. You can update at your leisure. You can skip an update. You can do whatever you want. That's why it's open source, and that's why it works the way it does. There is a freedom in Linux. So if you're interested in switching to Linux, make sure that you get over to that article, Zorno S18. I'll link it below, and that will give you a little bit of an idea of what you're going to experience with this, with Zorno S18. There are other distributions: Pop! OS, Ubuntu, Fedora, Arch Linux. There's just a ton of them, but if you're new to Linux, I would suggest starting with either Zorno S18 or Pop! OS. Those are two real familiar, kind of, for Windows users. You're going to kind of jump in there, and it's going to be familiar to you. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I just wanted to jump in on the dog pile on Microsoft, and jump in on this on the action, because you know, I noticed this too, and more people are noticing. More videos are coming out, more articles are being written, and I've seen and heard from some of my audience also expressing frustration with Microsoft and with Windows 11. So what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments. Are you switching to Linux and Mac OS? What are you doing? How is this all working out for you? What are your opinions on this whole situation? So yeah, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment, subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, do all the things that help the algorithm push us up. We are growing. You know, I'll have more videos, more unboxing videos coming soon once I start getting product for 26 in. So stay tuned for those. In the meantime, make sure you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we will talk to you on the other side.